Hi everybody. The question that I am answering in this video is, my parents seem like they're losing their minds. What on earth is going on and what am I going to do about this? I'm Pamela D Wilson. I'm a caregiving expert, advocate, a speaker. There's so much help on my website at PamelaDWilson.com. More videos, hundreds of videos actually here on my YouTube channel, but videos on my website, online caregiver courses, my weekly podcast, The Caring Generation, a lot of other help and support. So what do you do if you think that your parents are losing their minds, or maybe you as a caregiver are losing their minds? I want to talk about two things in particular. One related to memory loss, which can really indicate that your parents are losing their minds. They're losing their mental faculties, their abilities. And the other one where your parents just may not be making good decisions because of one reason or another. So let's start with Alzheimer's or dementia first. Now, if you think that your parents are losing their minds or they're becoming forgetful and they're not diagnosed, okay, these things that you're seeing where you think, they're forgetful, they're losing their mind, that is a sign that you should get them to the doctor for a memory evaluation. And your parents may not want to go because, let's be honest, there's a huge fear of being diagnosed with dementia or Alzheimer's because it's a scary diagnosis. It's scary when you really can't remember that you can't remember. And that's exactly what happens to people with Alzheimer's or dementia. Now the signs, though, can occur 10, 15, 20 years before, but unless you know as a caregiver what to look for, or unless you know as an individual what to look for and you're actually looking for it, you may miss all of the signs that indicate that you have dementia or Alzheimer's or another type of cognitive impairment. And the truth is that mild cognitive impairment, so early memory loss, usually does lead to greater memory loss over time. So if that's the case when you get a diagnosis, at least you can be prepared. At least you can get your legal matters in order. You can talk to your children. You can talk to your parents about what do you want for care? What are we going to do? How are we going to handle all this? What should we do? That's a blessing, okay? The second part of my parents are losing their minds, or I'm losing my mind as a caregiver, really can relate to the idea of your parents refusing care or refusing help or just making bad decisions. Now, this takes us to the assumption that there is no memory loss, there's no cognitive decline, there's no Alzheimer's, they're just making these decisions. Also, there's no mental illness, okay? Mental illness can lead to parents not making good decisions, and that's a whole nother conversation, a whole nother care planning event for parents. But honestly, okay, we as individuals, we've all made bad decisions at one point or another because we were stubborn. We didn't want to listen to somebody, we didn't believe, we didn't want to take advice, we thought we knew better. Well, our elderly parents are no different. So how do you approach that? Well, you could start asking a lot of questions rather than accusing your parents of not making good decisions. That's not going to go anywhere, and you probably know that by now if you're watching this, okay? So you could watch your parents do something and you just say, well, Mom or Dad, I saw you do that, or you mentioned you're frustrated about this. What's your thinking on that? How did you come to that conclusion that you wanted to do that, or that was a good idea? Now, great insight. We can turn that question around on ourselves and ask ourselves, why am I refusing to do this? Why am I refusing information? What is that about? Or what's my thought process? Why am I thinking that's not a good idea? Why am I thinking that is a good idea? Sometimes looking at the pros and cons and playing devil's advocate with ourselves can lead to insights into how our elderly parents might think about things, or at least lead us to start asking questions about, I hear you're frustrated about that. What do you want to do? What are you going to do? What options are you looking at? Is there anything you want to do about that? Or is complaining about as far as that goes? So this whole losing the mind issue can really be losing our mind in the case of a cognitive diagnosis, or it can be losing our mind from a point of being in denial, realizing we have decisions to make and not wanting to make those decisions, refusing to consider other options, and the idea of how do we open up our minds so that instead of losing our minds, we're gaining information and looking at options and making progress. I'm Pamela D Wilson. My website is PamelaDWilson.com. On there's so much help, hope, and support for caregivers and aging adults. I believe that anything is possible if we find the right resources, find the right information, talk to experts who can help us. Please press the share button on this video, share it with other people you know who are looking for hope, help, and support. I will see you all again soon in another video.